Okay, this is a picture map of online space that I drew myself, and I'm not much of a drawer, but the statement that YouTube is a mess at first glance seems to be accurate. Part of this online anarchy is due to the phenomenon of folksonomy, where users tag media with a key term by which it can be identified, in contrast to unilateral web organization dominated by Google, who actually own YouTube anyway. Tagging can be purposefully misleading, and when you combine this with an upload rate of 65,000 videos a day, it's not surprising that it might take you a while to locate the exact video that you're after. But I believe it is this journey of wandering, evaluating and searching that defines the YouTube viewing experience. When faced with such a multitude of clips, the viewer is constantly forced to ask, which is the real trash? As you wander and view, most likely rate, comment, or at the very least increase the number of views, you're leaving a mark and you're still contributing in some way to the development of YouTube, whether or not you actually post a video. So, let's say that YouTube has an interface architecture. You go to the home page and you see videos being watched now, or you scroll down to the most popular section and you see top favorited and most viewed. These forms, top favorited and most views, are set by YouTube, but we, the users, set the content. Michel de Certeau, in The Practice of Everyday Life, describes his theory of techniques and strategies, where a strategy assumes a place that can be circumscribed as proper, such as a spatial or institutional location, and is imposed from above, while a tactic insinuates itself in another's place, fragmentally, without being able to take it over in its entirety, but without being able to keep it at a distance. Many academics have grappled with the applicability of strategies and tactics to the online realm, but what is most significant in my engagement with YouTube is de Certeau's use of the city to exemplify strategies and tactics. He compares the experience of looking down on the city, where you can see all the material strategies like buildings and roads, to being down below, to the operation of walking, wandering, or window shopping, that is, the activity of passers-by. These dual experiences of the city are analogous to YouTube. When you sign in to youtube.com, its strategies are made apparent. Popular channels are laid out for us, including a selection of videos recommended for you. However, the YouTube viewer, like de Certeau's street walker, let me just find this quote for you. I've got it on the desktop. Okay. Transforms each spatial signifier into something else. And if on one hand he actualizes only a few of the possibilities fixed by the constructive order, he goes here and not there, on the other he creates an infinite number of possibilities, for example by creating shortcuts and detours, and prohibitions. For example, he forbids himself to take paths generally considered accessible or even obligatory. He thus makes a selection. So if we exchange going here and not there for viewing this and not that, or think of taking a shortcut like doing a search, then YouTube can be seen as a virtual streetscape. Each link or adjacent video creates connections between individual spaces that often depicts the domestic interior itself. To highlight the connection between a YouTubescape and de Certeau's experience of the city, the opening page of my channel depicts Lewisham, which is my Sydney suburb, shown from above. And handheld recordings of the wanderings through the city are placed throughout the clips to give some kind of continuity to how we experience wandering through space in the physical world compared with online spaces. In comparing YouTube to a streetscape, I am also comparing the wandering of a YouTube viewer to that of a flaneur. Like his 19th century counterpart, today's online flaneurs wander and observe people. And significantly, they share the conundrum of being caught between creativity and commodification. Because although YouTube can be seen as a community and as a site for celebrations of new forms of empowerment, its pages are framed by ads, and its participatory nature fits very neatly into an economic model known as Weeconomics. But the wanderings of a 19th century urban flaneur compared to a 21st century online flaneur are rendered fundamentally different because the rules of physics do not apply on the internet as they do in the physical world. In the real world, proximal relationships are reciprocal. If street A is next to street B, then street B is next to street A. But in cyberspace, if site A links to site B, there is nothing necessarily to indicate that site B similarly links to site A. And travel in the real world contains time spent in between destinations, in non-spaces. Online, the closest we can get to a non-site would be an error in the page loading, which is not really a non-site in itself, more like a momentary break between connections. Less like an airport and more like a city in the fog. You're there, as much as you can be said to be there in any online realm, but you just can't see it.